Hello everyone, welcome, this is Guys115 speaking, and I'd love to welcome you to a very special video that I've been working on for quite a while now, and that's a time trial using pistols only across the entirety of Tomb Raider 2 Remastered. Before we dive right into the action, I'd just like to discuss a couple of design principles that I'm gonna apply in this video so that it makes a bit more sense, helps you understand where I was coming from. First and foremost, our objective essentially, and what inspired me to do this, is to unlock two achievements. First of all, I only play for sport still, where we'll need to beat the entire game under 6 hours, which, as it turns out, is a fairly generous objective. Now, judging by the rough length of this video, you can already tell if we succeeded or not, and how well or poorly I did, based on the time estimates. But the important disclaimer I'd like to add here is that I'm not a speedrunner. Like I said before, I don't have the skills nor the ambition. However, I'd love to make more of a casual guide for all of us, who are presumably most of us not speedrunners, to really achieve this. Therefore, I did a lot of research, lots of practice, and what I included in this video are what I think the most reliable and easy to reproduce steps to go and skip as much of the game's content as possible, so that in each level you reach the level end screen as early as possible and be closer to that 6-hour objective. Given your own skills or unique preferences, you will probably know of skips that I didn't include in this video that you will use, or on the other hand, if something I did in this video will turn out to be just too tricky for you, that's fine. You will still have extra time up to that 6-hour mark. And throughout the course of this video, I'm also gonna accompany you with some commentary. Most of it is gonna be quiet, but some instances I think will benefit from me explaining what is it I'm performing, what inputs I'm using, that sort of thing. So hopefully this will make it easy in your own time to still achieve it and beat the game under 6 hours. Secondly, if you're sort of looking forward to an actual speedrun done by absolute masters in the Tomb Raider community, I'm gonna include a link in the description below for an inspiration of mine, and that's Footi, I think a Tomb Raider fan from Finland who broke the world record, as far as I'm aware, and managed to beat the game under 1 hour, 29 minutes and 55 seconds without using glitches, if you can imagine that. It's incredible. So if you want to check that out, I'm including a link to his video in the description below, and many of the techniques he used I tried to reproduce to some horrible results because I don't have the skills, but I also learned a lot from his playthrough, so I wanted to be transparent about that, and some of the techniques I'll be using are directly learned from his own playthrough, and I want to give him credit for being such an inspiration for me. Second point, we'll beat the game using pistols only. What this means essentially is that it's going to take longer to kill enemies, which might seem counterintuitive. On the other hand, this naturally promotes more of a pacifist run through the game. You'll want to ignore as many enemies as you can, although in your own playthrough you will do your own trade-off if it's worth taking more damage because you ignore some enemies, or if you want to spend the time to actually kill them and therefore preserve your health and the few medpacks we'll be picking up along the way, okay? A very important thing, the very hard-boiled achievement will unlock when you beat the penultimate level, because as you know, the very final one, Home Sweet Home, does not have pistols in it. So just don't panic if you'll see it popping early, but not the I only play for sports still. Thirdly, this directly ties to the kinds of pickups we'll be picking up, so really all weapons and ammunition is now obsolete in this run. Not picking them up will essentially allow us to save up lots of seconds, which is ultimately gonna add up to lots of minutes in the entire playthrough. So again, I think these two achievements really work well together, and as a result I'm only going to be picking some key items, not all of them are necessary as I found out, and some medpacks, mostly that are going to be directly in our way, and also some boxes of flares because I still want to illuminate some darker areas for you, okay? And finally, the whole video is gonna be half silent, half commentary. I did my full commentary let's play in a playlist you can find on my channel for the entire Tomb Raider 2 Remastered, where I 100%ed it, all the level specific achievements, all breakable objects, all kills, all items. Now we're just gonna be focusing on beating the game as fast as possible using pistols only. As such, I'm not going to be offering full commentary, but from time to time I'm going to pop into the video and share some of my thoughts and explain what is it I'm actually trying to pull off on the screen. I think some seldom commentary will actually be quite helpful to you guys when you'll try to do your own run like this. Hopefully so. It turned out great in my Tomb Raider 1 Remastered, and I was really excited to do the same for Tomb Raider 2 Remastered, and in the future for Tomb Raider 3 Remastered, but that's not here or there now. So guys, with those things in mind, hopefully I explained what is the objective of this video. Please enjoy, strap yourselves in, because Lara, according to the message I received, is just about to make a drop on the Great Wall of China. Let's see how she does. Lara, put on your lucky sunglasses. Without them, we'll definitely fail this challenge. Please keep in mind that after the release of Major Patch 3 and the introduction of the outfit selector, there is a requirement where you need to beat the game at least once to enable the sunglasses. This was not the case before, and I guess it sucks a little. However, the cool thing is, once you toggle them in your in-game menu comfortably like you've seen on the screen, Lara will keep wearing them across levels. You no longer need to hold the look and the walk key every single time you load the game or you transition into a new level. So that's definitely an advantage over how I did this back in Tomb Raider 1 Remastered. This will be the first instance where you'll see me use my favorite glitch, and that is to make a standing jump through a gap in between the corner of a movable block and a static corridor. This works reliably well, and it will end up in Lara making it across without having you to spend some seconds moving the block out of the way. There are a couple of occasions when this can cause Lara to disappear from the map, which is pretty damn funny, but it happens so rarely that I used it reliably over this entire playthrough and it didn't happen once, which is why I'm including it here. Furthermore, if you overcome the following trap corridor in the way you see on the screen, you should also be awarded the I'm not climbing the walls for this achievement if you haven't got it already in your first playthrough. So there we go. This was just a small taste of what the rest of the video will be like. Hopefully this demonstrated that we'll be skipping unnecessary supplies and we are gonna ignore all enemies we can. Furthermore, I'm gonna try and use this as an additional opportunity to highlight all the achievements you can unlock while performing some really cool skips in Tomb Raider 2, and there are plenty. So, strap yourselves because we have a long journey ahead of ourselves, but not as long as I expected. The first of many opportunities to break a window with your own body, unlocking the emergency exit achievement. By the way, the sniper we keep ignoring on that balcony drops a key. However, it's the first example of a key item we can completely ignore. All it will accomplish is allow us to get our hands on the boat. However, this level can be beaten so much faster without a boat on foot, which might seem counterintuitive, but let me show you what I mean. After pressing the button, make sure to underswim the small door on the left. This will essentially avoid the level trigger for triggering the timer on the exit door, meaning you have as much time as you could possibly want to reach it without a boat. Beating the level this way as a little reward for your trouble, you'll unlock I'm Not Your Tourist achievement for beating Venice without ever touching a boat. Now what I'm showing you here is a way I always assumed is the intended way to continue the level as a kid, because I had no idea that on the other side of the upper floor there is a flower block we're supposed to move out of the way and reach this balcony. Doing it this way, however, and grabbing the ladder directly will unlock the pollen allergy achievement, but not straight away. You'll need to reach the level end first, and it will pop up on the level end stat screen. As you can see, nabbing the key from behind the portrait is a very easy affair even without moving the chandeliers across. And the developers agree, because for this you unlock the moving doesn't change who you are achievement. I love these achievement names. Fun fact, you do not need the detonator key at all. Now I know, this is one of the oldest tricks in the book for Tomb Raider 2, for those of us who know it well, but the thing is, you get rewarded a secret if you investigate the building before blowing it up. However, what I think was an oversight on the developers' part, the original developers, is that you can climb up on the roof of the building because it's not tall enough and just continue straight into the opera house, and that's exactly what we'll be doing here. And this stat screen is exactly where the pollen allergy achievement will pop up for grabbing the ladder directly in the entrance of Bartoli's hideout. Anyway, on to the opera house. The move I'm about to pull off now is a so-called roll, followed by holding the action key, but releasing the action key before Lara has an actual chance to grab the ledge. This has multiple advantages, as it allows her to very quickly get directly under the ledge she would normally be grabbing. The sooner you learn this move, the more time it will save you, and we're gonna use it to do an absolutely amazing level skip very shortly after this. Do you see the beauty of this move now? Not only did we do a massive skip, we avoided the enemies and avoided the glass shards. By the way, picking up the gold dragon here at this stage as the first secret of the level will also net you the gold digger achievement. On to the next amazing skip. Using a curved jump like this, where you tilt Lara during her jumping trajectory, you can essentially make it to the very final area of the level, straight from the top floor of the opera house. This is incredible, and it's even easier to pull off using the modern controls, because there you have a greater range or a degree of freedom when controlling Lara mid-air. And the fun doesn't stop there, because you can immediately jump to the button that opens the door to the seaplane hangar, ignore all the enemies, including the boss, and make it to the next level. Nothing like using your enemy's own weapons against them. Doing it this way, you are essentially able to get your hands on Lara's pistols without touching the water, netting you the "don't even need to wet my feet" achievement. While it doesn't really make much sense, in both the original and the remastered versions of the game, you are able to grab the leftmost part of the ladder, where it still clips with the wall texture. Doing it this way, you will bypass the flames completely, and if you do this without having touched either of the 2 pushable blocks in this room, you will also unlock Inner Rush achievement as a little bit of a bonus on top of saving a lot of time. As you'll notice throughout this playthrough, these low-hanging ledges and ceiling lamps are the bane of my existence. Be very careful not to be too jump happy unless you know the layout, or you'll be set back a couple of seconds, a couple of times, like I was in this case, and there'll be unfortunately more of that. Picking up the shotgun shells here was a pure accident. It seems I learned something new. In case there's a pickupable goodie next to a pushable block, Lara will always prioritize picking it up before interacting with the pushable block when you press the action key. Under any other circumstances than a speedrun or a time trial, this is a good thing, ensuring you're less likely to miss some supplies. In this particular scenario though, its placement was very unfortunate. Okay, this is a really hard one. Make sure to jump directly at the same water tile where the underwater lever is, whilst already holding the action key. Lara will automatically align herself despite the current and interact with it. Once done, make sure to turn her to 45-degree angle. This gives her partial immunity against the strong current from the vent, and should allow you to swim towards the door. Like I said, this is very difficult, and in general, the entire diving area is one of the hardest levels for me to use speedrunning tricks in. So give yourself some grace, or feel free to even play it without them. You do have extra spare time to meet that 6-hour mark. Oh no, the world's longest ladder! What are we gonna do? Well, it's fairly simple. Make sure to grab it using only Lara's arms and shimmy all the way to the right, making sure that her feet and legs are just dangling. Once this is done, press down to ensure that she'll start her climb down animation using only her arms. During this animation, when her right arm is at its rightmost position, almost completely sucked by the wall to the right, as you can see on the screen, that's when you release the action key and start holding forward and right keys. If everything works correctly, you'll find Lara running at the very top of the ladder on the corridor to the right. If something went wrong, usually this means Lara will be teleported to the top, but rather than being the corridor to the right, she'll start falling and plunging into her death, okay? It took me roughly 5 times to finally nail this down. I will include a link in the video description below for an amazing tutorial using overlay showing you the inputs that helped me master this. And once I learned this, I managed to reproduce it every time. Using a little underwater trickery, we managed to trap the diver inside this underwater maze. I find the irony just so incredibly delicious and the whole situation very funny. Turning off the fires here is purely optional. However, taking the time to press both switches doesn't take that many seconds, so if you don't feel like having a brush with cooked bacon Lara, feel free to do it the more safer way. Congratulations! Using this wicked tilting jump, you've managed to skip 1/3 of the level. However, this is even easier to pull off with modern controls, just like in the Opera House. However, what I'm showing you in this playthrough is everything that's possible, even with the good old tank controls.
Blood or answers? I have no preference. You should spill a bit of both.
Okay, Marco. Glad to have your box. What do you want? Come on, stick to your stomach. Tell me, where in Monastery should we look?
Keep in mind, you're not going to be able to avoid killing these two henchmen. Not only do you need to drop next to the monk to trigger the level exit, but also both of these guys need to be dead for that to happen, like you'll see on the screen now. If the offshore rig and diving area levels taught us anything, is that turning off flames is optional. Although that's taken to a little bit of an extreme in this particular case. I'm sorry, Lara. It's just practice for what's to come in the next level, but it will be worth it, trust me. Dropping down whilst tilting Lara to the right enables you to already access first of the two switches that will enable the level exit before even triggering the rock slide. I find this to be a really neat shortcut. I would really recommend you to copy my exact movements here, including the side flip and its subsequent recovery and run-up, because this will enable you to do a safety drop on top of a small step underneath, absolutely minimizing the damage you will take from the fall. And this, my friends, is what I've been hinting at in the previous level. Why scavenge the entire shipwreck for 3 circuit breakers when you can just push the block through the fire? And if you do it on its left side, even without Lara catching fire, although the proximity still roasts her alive, which is brutal. On PC and keyboard, you can press 9 for large medpack, 0 for small medpack. Using a controller or playing on consoles, you'll need to bring up your inventory manually each time you want to pop a medpack, but it's entirely possible during those pulling animations. Either way, Miss Croft, you are absolutely and positively Amazonian. Now, if you'll pull this stunt off all the way to the level end screen without taking any kind of damage, you'll unlock the Nervous Wreck achievement. However, we already have unlocked it in our 100% Let's Play, and I'm pretty sure I see a couple of shell casings stuck in Lara's buttocks. I think she got shot by a shotgunner during our swan dive. Now, depending on how well you do under pressure, you might consider killing these 3 enemies first, because the next jump through the flames requires a certain degree of accuracy. Your best bet is to align Lara onto the line in between those fueled flame tiles, like I'm showing on screen now. This will then set you up perfectly for another jump right across them. I hope this helps. It does take a couple of tries, but don't give up. You learned to play with fire in previous levels, there's no reason to stop now. climbing up onto the pipe like this, and then after a subsequent jump, you'll be also rewarded with attentiveness rewarded achievement. Funnily enough, for the bigger part of my life, this is how I thought you need to continue the level exactly, and I had no bloody clue why there's the whole lever challenge in that room down there. Probably the most satisfying part of the whole level is that you don't have to flood this pit. Instead, you can make the jump that the original devs thought impossible. Make sure to align Lara's head so that it's just barely touching the column to the left, and this way you are perfectly aligned to make the jump. Important thing, at the very end, tilt Lara ever so slightly to the left and press the action key as late as humanly possible. This extends her trajectory all the way, allowing you to grab it. It can be a bit tricky, but once you get the hang of it, you will not forget how to do this. Right from the get-go, I love using this bench for cover. There's something hilarious about the fact that these guys cannot even touch us whilst we're behind that bench. Now what I'd like to show you is essentially how to get onto the top deck, because it's the fastest way to the key on top of the inflatable raft, and unfortunately we cannot avoid getting that key. First of all, make sure to align Lara slightly, ever so slightly diagonally over here. 45 degrees is already too much, and make a backflip with mid-air roll. During a drop recovery, Lara will not realize that she's on a slippery slope and is supposed to slide down. Use this opportunity to immediately start holding the action key and forward key, and Lara will climb the ledge up. This is a really neat trick I learned via a video, for which I'm providing a link in the description below, where that user also included inputs they used on their controller with default settings. Hopefully that will help. Once I pulled this off, I never failed again. After picking up the key, you should in theory be awarded a land walk achievement. However, I was not able to test this because across all platforms I own the game, I already unlocked it via skirting around this underground lake way. So I'm not sure if this will unlock the achievement for you, but according to the achievement description, it should at least work like that. Guys, in case you do unlock the achievement this way, please let us all know in the comments. Okay, now we're entering the final third of the game. By the way, entering this little hidey hole with the snow leopards to avoid the snowballs will unlock Who's the Cat and Who's the Mouse achievement. Just a nice little reward, I guess. Okay, the trick for this jump in order to skip the entire chasm is to essentially delay pressing the action key as late as possible whilst aiming at the corner of this square. This way you'll just take some small falling damage and you skip the entire chasm. Furthermore, make sure to climb over the hill on the left side, you'll avoid triggering the appearance of Bartoli's henchmen, altogether making your life that much easier. And finally, we get to board the skidoo! Woohoo! Since my original Let's Play, I improved my technique somewhat, and this little slope we're on is the best place to align Lara to make the jump, squeeze in between the wall and the ice blocks, and unlock the Tibetan Express achievement. Now, be very careful where you park your skidoo because you'll need to make a very quick getaway. But, fun fact, the entire quest for the drawbridge key is purely optional. Essentially, using this series of jumps, you can use Lara's massive thick boots to trigger the avalanche herself, which I just find incredibly entertaining. Now, a trick I really wanted to show you and was looking forward to was highlighted to me by viewer Abdelhadi Mohammed on my Tibetan Foothills video, and that's essentially as soon as Bartoli's henchmen come, climb the roof and you'll avoid them taking potshots at you and pretty much make fools out of them. Unfortunately, I made fool out of myself because I chose the incorrect tile to climb on and messed this up, and they managed to land a few shots. Nevertheless, this worked flawlessly during my trial run, and I hope this will help you guys out as well in any kind of playthrough where you are okay avoiding enemies and goodies, like this one. Now for the final tough as nails part, I recommend not wasting time with this guy. You're gonna lose a ton of health in the process of shooting him with your pistols, and it at least takes a full 60 seconds, a full minute to bring them down with your pistols, assuming you do not miss a single shot. It's absolutely insane, gonna cost you a lot of time. Let's work our way around him instead and shimmy across this chasm. Very important caveat, on PC, if you're playing with keyboard, you're fine and you can keep popping medpacks as you're shimmying with 9 and 0 hotkeys. If you're playing on PC with a controller or on any console, you're kind of screwed and you need to ensure that you start shimmying and commit to it with almost full, if not full, health bar, because during the shimming process you will not be able to open the inventory to pop a medpack. If you do, Lara will let go. Just please keep it in mind. We will, however, have to take these two guys down, which is gonna take a while and a lot of health. This is the most annoying part of the level, but do not worry, on this ledge over here you will persevere and take very good cover. Now, as soon as you take one of these guys down, you might be tempted, oh, let's hop onto the scooter and finish the other one off with it. Please, please, please don't. I know this is already the second playthrough and still we do not get to fire a single bullet from these things. And you know why? Because firing them will invalidate your very hard-boiled achievement run. Remember, pistols only, no scooter-mounted machine guns. But don't worry, New Game Plus is approaching and we'll finally get to play with these very expensive and very deadly toys. While I did say firing those machine guns is a big no-no, driving over enemies is absolutely fine and will not invalidate very hard-boiled achievement. So on you go, have some fun, and let's finish this level as it was intended to, with an explosion. Lara's back, bitches, and things are different. Rather than fighting two armies, she will fight no armies. But if by any coincidence no monk dies during these scuffles with Bartoli's hoodlums, you will end up unlocking the end doesn't justify the means achievement. But it's very unlikely. You are mostly required to participate and help them along. Pulling off this jump and entering the monastery without having touched the ladder at the very beginning is not only faster, but also nets you an unexpected visit achievement. A nice little Hobbit reference. Now I'd like to use this quiet moment of meditation to explain what our objective is in this run of Barkhang Monastery. That is essentially to get the key to open the grand entrance, to get to the bottom floor safely, and whilst doing that, to have a single prayer wheel in our inventory, because there is a way to unlock the entrance to the Catacombs of the Talion with just a single prayer wheel using kind of a funny glitch that will save us a lot of time in this run. Furthermore, there is a way to get to the first prayer wheel that I'm going to show you, but I improve it thanks to the excellent advice from the Game Breakers UK channel on my Barkhang Monastery video, where he suggested I just glitch through a movable block, and he was right, and that's what I'm gonna do. By the way, do check out the Game Breakers UK's channel for all coverage on Tomb Raiders Remastered. Honestly, this guy has very clear and concise guides on all sorts of skips and glitches, and what I think is even cooler, he has the best coverage for all patches for the Tomb Raider Remastered trilogy. So whenever you want to know what's new in a major patch, or sometimes what's ended up being broken, check out his channel. He has the best coverage in my opinion. Whilst we were getting our hands on the prayer wheel, there was a scuffle between a monk and Bartoli's elite henchmen. Now 9 out of 10 times the monk is victorious. These guys are absolute badasses, but occasionally it can happen that Bartoli's henchman defeats the monk and you'll have to bring him down with whatever health he is remaining. In this happier case, however, we do get a large medpack Bartoli's henchman dropped. And now our plan will come to fruition. So you need 6 prayer wheels under normal circumstances. Instead, we will enter the same praying wheel 6 times to open the door to the catacombs. So first of all, make sure to approach the first slot as you normally would via pressing the action key and entering the prayer wheel. However, each subsequent of the 5 remaining slots you approach, make sure to manually open up your inventory screen, then navigate up amongst the key item screen, and then select the floating seraph, which tends to be a bit frozen in the air. Each time you do this, the game will still think you have some prayer wheels left, and Lara will enter a prayer wheel into the receptacle. So essentially do this 5 additional times after the first one, and the door will open. Make sure not to save or load during this process, and also make sure not to by accident press the action key amongst these receptacles, or you can mess it up, unfortunately. If you try to pull the same trick off at the Seraph receptacle, Lara will just say no, because it's not a slot for a prayer wheel. Instead, approach it normally as you would using the action key and the game will auto-suggest the correct Seraph. And there you go, you've just beaten Barkhang Monastery. And if you had a large surge of luck and none of the monks died during the scuffles with Bartoli's henchmen, you'll also end up unlocking the end doesn't justify the means achievement here. But if you want to check out a proper guide how to do that, check out my Barkhang Monastery Let's Play series video. On to the Catacombs of the Talion. If Lara manages to get her sneaky, grabby little hands on the Tibetan mask in under 25 seconds after triggering the small avalanche, you will be rewarded with an I want it now achievement. Following this sequence should do the trick. Notice the exact tiles we touched and the ones we jumped over. Doing it this way, you'll avoid triggering the appearance of the 6 snow leopards altogether, making your life that much easier. Talking about snow leopards. This room of horrors involves a trick I've never been able to reproduce. It involves you completely avoiding moving the block, saving a lot of time, and making sure that once you trigger the appearance of Yetis, you time it just right that when a Yeti is within a distance, you will pull the lever again. The grates will start closing, however, a Yeti's punch will push you in through the grate and inside. And this way you'll save up time on moving the block. But since I've never managed to reproduce this myself, most likely due to lack of practice, I am not including it in this guide. I'd like it to be useful to people on my skill level and under my skill level. Okay, this is a really difficult one. It in a sense reminds me of the one at the very end of the living quarters. So what you need to do is align Lara not to face the ledge we want to reach, but instead the lit brazier with fire. Then make a running jump, and when you're halfway across the jumping trajectory, start tilting Lara to the right. This is important. Don't tilt her immediately after she starts the jump, but only halfway across the trajectory. Then, and only then, she'll start tilting with enough distance to reach the ledge and press action at the very last possible time. This gives you the best possible setup to reach the ledge and end up skipping the entire frozen river part of the level. This is the most major skip of the Catacombs of the Talion. Now, in case this is too difficult, it took me roughly 7 attempts to actually make it, please keep in mind you have 6 hours to unlock I Only Play for Sports Steel achievement, so that should take some pressure off. Whenever there's something that's just too tricky or you don't have the patience for, it's okay to take the longer route and you should still be fine. And on a final note, if you have the health to spare, you can just do a safety drop here and save some time rather than using the ladder's drop and grab technique. It's really funny how quickly you can get through the Ice Palace Bell section. Make sure to approach the first jumping pad diagonally. This will also launch you close to the bell, meaning you'll hit it even with pistols, no Uzis needed. As for the second jump pad, make sure to approach it at a 45-degree angle via a hop back. This should be perfect alignment for Lara to hit the bell in the corner, just like that. And for the final one, this is a bit tricky, but using the momentum from a roll whilst also facing the third jump pad diagonally, you'll end up being launched onto the slippery ledge. And I think we've just unlocked the Recess Bell achievement by accident. Well, we would have if we wouldn't have already unlocked it in our Let's Play proper. So it's a new way to do that, and now we're out of the bell section altogether. mentioned this briefly in my Let's Play proper, but after defeating these black and white tigers, you don't actually need to pick up the Tibetan mask. All you gotta do is touch the tile it's on, because this is a trigger to open the door out of this cavern and continue. But hold on a sec, Zelgaris, don't we need the mask for another door? You would be right, except not really. We can completely bypass that mechanism. I'll show you in a short while. Yeti avoiding and mechanism bypassing time is now, and we're successful. Wow. And I think we can call this phenomenon a Yeti avalanche. They are incredibly rare, but incredibly deadly. Make sure to run the hell away. Lara, what are you doing? It's like you learned nothing in our past attempt. It's like you don't even want the dagger. Oh, maybe you just want to beat the level quickly. Well, that's good, our objectives are aligned. Just like before, this is the path to this level's first secret, however, we are gonna use it as a jumping point to do the game's largest level skip ever. Oh, just watch this. Tilting Lara to the right during this jump is everything, and again, something that's much easier done with the modern controls, but it's fairly doable even in the tank ones. And doing this, we found ourselves opening the final door of the level via a button and just a series of jumping pads separating us from the final room. The most reliable way I found of doing this is to use the momentum of Lara's backflip and then holding forward whilst she's being thrown around by the jumping pads. Be very careful not to by accident press the forward key whilst she's still performing the backflip, or she might end up doing a mid-air roll and you'll end up stuck in a loop of jump ups and fall downs until poor Lara will run out of health and break her neck. We don't want that to happen. Oh, floating islands. I somehow knew you're gonna be the worst part of this run, and not so much because of the time trial, but because of the pistols only requirement. First of all, I made a blunder in my original floating islands video where I said you don't even need to engage with the cage mechanism over here, and then I corrected myself because it opens a trapdoor we need an access. And I thought to myself, why the hell did I remember that not being a necessity? And that's because in the original Tomb Raider 2, you could climb into the floating house without opening the trapdoor. It was a bug and you could essentially clip through it. But it's no longer possible in the remasters, so you do need to press that lever so that you'll get your hands not only on the first Mystic Plague, but also the second one. What's really neat about taking this path is that we've pretty much avoided awakening the two Jade Swordsmen guarding the Dragon's Door, so they are still guarding it, just doing a particularly poor job of it, and we can move on. As for the others that are already triggered, they will chase us across the ends of the world. However, being so slow, we will always be a couple of steps ahead of them. Just be on the lookout, they can sometimes get the drop on you, until we'll reach an area that they can no longer access towards the end of the level. Please do not try to fight these guys with your pistols only. It's much better to have the sheer audacity to just get behind them, press the lever and get out, ignoring them altogether. Another cool thing is, you don't need to align yourselves to grab the zipline, you can just slide down and grab the ladder yourself, just like this. This can be a bit tricky, but a running diagonal jump helps out a lot, and not only is this faster, you will also have not triggered the two Jade Boulders, meaning that at the end of the level, at the level end screen, you will unlock the No Crazy Golf achievement. Whoa, when I said getting the drop on us, I didn't mean it literally. Oh, watch out for those spears, Lara! This was the best zipline ride ever. Okay, this is a really tough one. I was able to also make it with a controller, but it's much easier with keyboard. Make sure to do swan dive, and the moment Lara recovers from the shallow water, pop a large medpack as you're receiving damage from the second blade, and whilst being hit by the third blade, you should have enough life left to weather out the blow whilst popping a small medpack. Aim for the leftmost corner and then dive into the water and you'll make it across. Using this kind of skip that I talked about in my Let's Play proper, you will be able to avoid pressing a lever in the lava pit, climbing up, using a movable block and making a swan dive through the trapdoor. This is a much faster way, but like I said, it's fairly tricky to pull off, so it might not be worth it to you. is very important you do not cross the threshold of these tiles as you're fighting Bartoli's henchmen, because having both the henchmen and the spearsmen alive is not going according to the plan. I made a blunder here, but thankfully I managed to salvage the situation somewhat and avoid Lara being impaled on those spears. Whilst using this block for safety, please be aware that the safety is not absolute. Whenever the spearsmen are approaching, make sure to move as far away from the edge as possible. These guys can still hit you whilst you're on the block. That's why I'm moving around so much on it. It is fairly stressful. This is a true test of patience. Phew, that took some doing. Now if you're wondering, can we actually move along without having to kill all the Jade Spearsmen with our pistols, which essentially takes like 5 minutes, which is insane. Yes, you can, and yes, it is very dangerous. The reason why I'm not doing this in this playthrough, despite the fact that I think we have enough medpacks to do it, is there's a certain element of randomness involved. I talked about this in my Let's Play series, but these guys, regardless of how much health you have, can sometimes trigger an insta-kill animation, just like T-Rex in Tomb Raider 1. That means that it would be fairly random if you manage to pull both levers whilst avoid getting skewered. This is why I'm not including in this guide. I think there'd be nothing more frustrating than me giving you advice, well, just try this 10 times and one of them it's bound to work. No, I want to give you good, reliable advice, even if that will take some extra time. Now, for this part, if you are playing on PC with a keyboard, I'd recommend make a run for it and grab the ladder to the right, because you'll be able to pop medpacks as you're climbing and taking damage from the spearsmen using your 9 and hero hotkeys. If you're using a controller or playing on consoles, please do what I'm showing you, and that is, let's go into the pit again and take care of these 2 spearsmen from our block of safety and redemption. It's gonna be a bit more tricky because this time they have the way out open, so rather than circling around the room, they can sometimes also leave it and enter the staircase, which means you'll just need to keep getting down from the block of safety and nudge them in your general direction. Okay guys, you've made it over the hill, the worst is behind you. Oh, and if, like I talked before, you didn't trigger the 2 jade boulders, you'll unlock the No Crazy Grove achievement. Okay, we're so close to the finish line, let's kill ourselves a dragon. Okay, let's have a repeat of the nightmare from the previous level and fight off the Jade Spearsmen, using pistols only, and this time not even having our block of safety. Normally I'd recommend keeping your distance, but occasionally it's advantageous to just get behind their back and circle around with them. However, this is not always successful, as these guys are much faster and more agile than Lara herself, which is just mind-blowing. The good thing is, however, that if you are not interested in all the kills, you just need to press this lever to essentially open the way out and awaken 2 more Jade Spearsmen. But there's one spearman that we are gonna leave well enough alone in this room. Now, funnily enough, you are only interested in one of these identical looking Bartoli's henchmen, and that's the guy over there in the far left corner. Once you lock onto him, unless you release the action key, Lara will never confuse him for the others. She will always remain locked on and unload on him. And once he's down, pick up that Mystic Plague and get out. Once you're down here in the actual dragon's lair, it doesn't actually matter how much health you have left remaining, because the whole point is not to get hit with its fire once. Let me show you. The 5th time he'll breathe fire on you without actually igniting Lara once is the time where you unlock the No Grill Today achievement as a little bonus. But we're only halfway through this fight. Woohoo! That means all our efforts up to this point were not in vain. So yes, the very hard-boiled achievement does unlock one level early before you beat the actual game, which makes sense considering the epilogue has shotgun, and this also means and confirms that driving over enemies on a skidoo does not invalidate the achievement in any way. Just be very careful not to fire a single bullet off of the black machine gun mounted scooter, okay? Now, the epilogue is here, the final level. Let's do this. From the very get-go, let's ignore all non-essential supplies like flares. Just pick up the stuff you need, you'll save a couple of precious seconds, and then, well, let's essentially make a getaway through our balcony. Remember, there are a couple of enemies that you need to trigger the appearance of via certain spawn points. All the rest will find their own way to us. You don't need to worry about those. The spawn points being the beginning of the assault course, the garden at the end of the assault course, and the trucks parked outside of Lara's home's entrance.
Don't you think you've seen enough?
Okay, I only play for sport. Still, we've beaten the game under 6 hours, but I want to see that... Whoa, the actual time! Guys, we've beaten Tomb Raider 2 under 2 hours. I never expected this in my wildest dream. 1 hour and 58 minutes and 35 seconds. So essentially half an hour better than the shorter Tomb Raider 1. Wow, all that training and practice has paid off. This is really amazing. We have also found 0 out of 48 secrets, unsurprisingly, 102 pickups, well actually 103 pickups. Remember the dagger of Xian? I'm definitely counting it, and this is not counterbalanced by the invisible pickup glitch in Opera House, because for that to trigger you need to pick up all secrets, which wasn't our case. Furthermore, we've killed 162 enemies, that is almost 1/3 of all enemies in the game, incredible. And looking at our accuracy, it seems we are again at 89%. Okay, that's pretty funny. Exactly the same as the Let's Play proper. Furthermore, we've restored our health bar during this crazy run at 12.5 times, and that is rather unsurprising given all the fire and blades and spikes we walked through. And when it comes to the distance traveled, we traveled roughly 10,216 squares, so less than a half of our 100% Let's Play. Pretty damn fascinating. As for the breakable objects, who knows, I didn't track that in this playthrough. Guys, I hope you had an absolute blast. This is a big moment for me. This is my most favorite Tomb Raider game, and to beat it under 2 hours, again, never in my wildest dreams I expected to do this. Hopefully you'll find this guide helpful to do it under 6 hours. You essentially have 3 times as much time in case there are some things you are not able to pull off, and in case you have some tricks up your sleeve that will help you save even more time. Please, please, please share them in the comments below. And now I'm gonna see you back in the main menu just to briefly talk about what's next. Hey guys, so back over here. I know it's only been 2 hours since we last saw each other, realistically, but on my end it feels like a lifetime ago. I've been through so much since I started working on this video, and I've become more experienced, grizzled Tomb Raider. Let's maintain that experience and grizzledness for TR3, but before that I just want to catch up with our achievement plan and what's next, since my next video will have no commentary whatsoever. So first of all, we did 2 playthroughs of the core Tomb Raider 2 Remastered, meaning we unlocked 63 achievements for the first 100% Let's Play, and then in this run we unlocked 2 very important achievements, very hard-boiled, and I only play for sports still, meaning we are now at 65 out of 66 from the core Tomb Raider 2 set. We have 1 more achievement remaining, and that is beating the New Game Plus called Starring One More Time. This will also net you the Platinum trophy already if you are playing on PS4, which is pretty awesome, and it's such a darn shame that's not the case on PS5. It annoys all of us to no end. Now, afterwards, I'll be tackling the Golden Mask expansion levels, which is gonna be a lot of fun and will pretty much unlock all the achievements pertaining to Tomb Raider 2, okay? But for the Platinum, you don't need the expansion achievements to get it. It only pertains to the core set. Now, since my next video will have no commentary whatsoever, the New Game Plus run, I wanted to also briefly talk to what the design principles will be, what the plan is, what the gist of New Game Plus even is, to help you prepare yourself. And then I'll essentially immediately start working on it. So let's dive into what the differences are between normal difficulty and the New Game Plus one. Now, the way I want to explain New Game Plus properly is to take you to an amazing online resource called Raiding the Globe. This website has been around since the days of the original Tomb Raiders, and they've essentially offered walkthroughs, digital goodies, features, news articles, all sorts of stuff. If you're a fan and don't know about this website yet, I do recommend checking it out. And what they did is they made an absolutely excellent summary of the New Game Plus modes for the Remastered trilogy. Oh, and by the way, you can play the main menu theme if you want from their website whilst reading in your own time, which is awesome. And look, it's Lara approved, there's her signature. Wonderful website. But yeah, New Game Plus modes. The New Game Plus modes that will be unlocked once the main games have been completed allow you to revisit the stories with some serious twists, oh yeah, to extend the life of the Remastered bundle. The question is that, are you ready? Well, we did dominate Tomb Raider 1, but Tomb Raider 2 is where the difficulty really picks up and what we're interested in now, so let's see. Lara has all weapons from the start, 2 clips in each, the exception being the harpoon gun, which rather than having 2 clips, meaning 6 harpoons, has 12 harpoons, and there's no unlimited ammo to these weapons. The reason there's this disclaimer is that in the original, if you beaten the game then started a new game, you also entered a sort of a New Game Plus mode. But it essentially, again, made all enemies tougher, made them deal more damage, but Lara had unlimited ammo for all her guns from the beginning. But it's no longer the case. Maybe we'll get the original New Game Plus difficulty modes via a future patch. Honestly, I don't care about them. They were really boring in my opinion, and these ones are way more interesting in the remasters. So, despite the fact that a harpoon gun has 12 shots to begin with, I am afraid we'll be short of ammunition by the time we'll reach 40 fathoms and we'll try to kill one of the 2 sharks in the beginning, which can be the sole reason why in my following video and my playthrough we'll land 515 rather than 516 kills. I briefly talked about it before, but guys, if there's a way to kill both sharks on New Game Plus in 40 fathoms, I will find it. You have my promise. If there isn't a way, then you will see me killing just one shark and dodging the other. Unfortunately, we'll end up with 515 kills. Now, it's possible to increase this kill count at the final stat screen via stunning Marco Bartoli over and over and over and not drawing the dagger of Xian from his belly, and you can raise that kill count to 516 or even higher if you're so inclined to make up for it. I'm not going to do it. I want the statistics to actually be accurate, okay? Secondly, all medipacks on the levels are changed to ammo. This is exactly like it was actually here in Tomb Raider 1 Remastered, so you will have more ammo, but honestly, it's barely making up for the amount of health the enemies will have in New Game Plus difficulty, so ammo shortage, despite the fact that there's more of it, will be a real problem on this mode. We'll see how I'll tackle my no pistols challenge. I'll probably start not using pistols in Tibetan Foothills to actually make it. It's ridiculous how much ammo you'll need for this run, if you're interested in all the kills. Lara doesn't have any medpacks in inventory from the start. True, she does still get the 2 flares, I've checked. Items that are given when all 3 secrets are taken are changed to medipacks. So, like in Tomb Raider 1 Remastered, the only way you could heal was via the save crystals, which was a lot of fun, actually I think more fun than here in TR2. You will heal either via beating a level or finding all secrets and getting medpacks that way. This naturally promotes more of a completionist approach for New Game Plus, which for those of you who just wanted to beat New Game Plus as quickly as possible and not bother with pickup secrets, that sort of thing, this can make it annoying, but for me it's actually nice to be validated as a completionist, because it's not enough to just beat New Game Plus, I want to 100% it, okay? Enemies' health and attack values are increased, oh absolutely, and it's not always doubled. Sometimes it's tripled. They took a very unique approach with every single enemy type, which I actually appreciate, although sometimes it just seems ridiculous. You'll see. Obstacles and traps damage values are lethal or nearly lethal. You are very unlikely to survive any trap. It can happen on New Game Plus, but the damage output is ridiculously high, like 5 times what it was on New Game, the normal difficulty. So essentially you just need to avoid all the traps like an absolute pro, like Lara would. Then all cheats don't work on New Game Plus. Don't care, we're not using cheats in our playthrough. Then monks are aggressive from the start in Barkhang Monastery. You know, I always knew these guys are up to something, and now their true form is revealed. Those bloodthirsty bastards. This helps me not feel bad about killing all of them in my original Tomb Raider 2 playthrough and the one I did for the remasters. And finally, this one actually made me giggle. Flares are burning for 30 seconds. That's it. So they burn as short as they do on the standard Tomb Raider 3 difficulty, if you ever played it. Flares are very short lasting, so just to make things a little bit more annoying, they shortened the duration of flares, and this wasn't the case in TR1 because flares didn't exist there. The dynamic lighting wasn't as prominent with the technology back then. So that's essentially it. This is what you have to look forward to, and yeah, I'm absolutely now starting to practice. I have 3 runs to do essentially on my PS5, on GOG, and then I'll be doing recordings on Steam, and hopefully the practice I'll get from these 2 platforms, whilst already having beaten it on PS4, is gonna be enough. And whether we land 515 or 516 kills, even I don't know at this stage. You'll find out in the video. And I'm very tempted to just look down what's the case for TR3, but no, I must resist. I must be strong. I want to do blind New Game Plus playthrough of TR3 on my PS4 at least once and not read up on what's new there. I have some idea from comments and leaks and that sort of thing, but I don't want to spoil the surprise for myself. So yeah, thank you guys so much for sticking around, and now I'd like to really just use the final moments of this video to thank my amazing patrons who have been so patient whilst I uploaded nothing when working on this video. I really appreciate it. You guys are literally financially supporting me, and for almost 2 weeks I gave out no video. That's because I'm working on the next one, okay? And I hope it has been worth it today. But first of all, I'd like to say thanks to my Winstons. Blank Goopel, Mick, Severin Drax, Marek Malec, and KT Danger, thank you guys so much for being my loyal Winstons and for bringing me all the caffeine I need. I'm editing late into the night with an early morning train to catch tomorrow, and I'll be damned if this video isn't out, so thank you for all the energy drinks. I would like to say big thanks to my caretaker Winston, Michael McConkey. Thank you so much for your support, and also after this run, Lara had so much contact with direct fire, she essentially turned into Bacon Lara, poor girl, but it is your skincare that's gonna restore her to her former beauty. Next, I would like to give a very special thanks to my veteran Winstons, Andrea Paviglianiti and Alexander. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel in this way and also being responsible for the maintenance of Lara's pistols. Andrea, you took care of the left one, Alexander, you took care of the right one. They both were polished perfectly and none of them jammed. It is only thanks to you we became very hard-boiled over the course of this journey. And finally, I would like to give a very special thanks to my one and only fine vintage Winston, Akira Foxmine. Thank you so much for your patience, for your supporting comments, and for your support of this channel. It is so much appreciated. And also, specifically, thank you for lowering the temperature in Lara's home. This made all of Bartoli's henchmen move around slowly, and some of them even slipped up on ice that foamed down. Thanks to you, we've kicked their asses, and that's the last we'll ever see of Bartoli's stacks. Until New Game Plus. And finally, thank you to everyone for watching, for throughout our Let's Play proper sharing all the tips and tricks that I was able to implement today that resulted in this having much better time. And in case you guys can think of any other skips or you have tricks up your sleeve that I haven't mentioned in this video or haven't shown even, please share them in the comments if you'd like. The more we share together, the better Tomb Raiders will become, the stronger we'll become, and possibly one day we'll even be able to say, I was there and I was not scared of Tomb Raider 3. But that's not here or there. Thank you so much for your patience and your support. And as a little thank you note, I am gonna start working on the New Game Plus difficulty, and that's exactly where I'm gonna see you next. Wish me luck and nerves of steel, for I will need them.